What Pretty Woman taught me about being seen and why it changes everything. Welcome, I'm Karen Barner. Welcome to my 30-day transformation. Transform your life and become your most powerful self. Have you ever felt like nobody really sees you? Not as a strong, capable woman leader that you are, but the real you, the one buried deep, the one who's been through hell, the one who's fought her way back and still wonders, you still sit there and you wonder, am I worthy of the life I'm dreaming about? It reminds me of something I realized when I was watching Pretty Woman. I love that movie, full confession. Anytime it's on TV, I watch it. But for a long time, to me, the moral of the story was if you meet the right people, you can, change your life. That was the moral of the story. It was just a cute, beautiful love story. I didn't pick up on something that is not just a love story. Vivian didn't change who she was. She didn't suddenly become worthy of the fancy clothes to rich men. The real transformation happened the moment that she really saw her. The moment she looked in the mirror and understood who she was and believed that that woman was already there. All the guy did, and I can't even think of his name right now besides Richard Gere, all he did was show her who she was by seeing her. When you get to that piano scene, he sees her. When you get to the opera, he really sees her. He gets her. He understands who she is. And because of that, she was able to change. I mean, have you ever felt for years, I felt invisible. I felt like nobody saw who I was. They saw Karen Barno, the leader. They saw Karen Barno, kind of the goofy person. They saw Karen Barno, more of the free living person. And I shrunk and I hid so many parts of me. I hid the fact that, I'm a pretty smart person. I hid the fact that I'm very loving. I'm very trusting. I have a lot of good attributes, but I hid that because I was always afraid that I would be hurt, that somebody would take away something from me. And I didn't believe anybody would actually see me for who I was or value me for who I was. I was convinced that nobody would value me for who I was. Sorry, I got a piece of paper hanging there. I got in my way. Sorry, this may have value, but here's the truth. Here's the absolute truth. Transformation doesn't happen when somebody sees you. It starts the moment you see yourself. The moment I sat down and I saw me. The moment I peeled away all the judgment, all the tags people put on me, all the, well, you're this or you're that, in school, you're the class clown, you're the goofy one, you're not very smart, you have the fat gene, you got this job because you were the only one in the room willing to take 40,000. All these things, you're not as smart as everybody else because they obviously are much smarter than you. All this built up until recently there was a moment when I saw myself, when I saw who I truly was, and when I decided I'm worthy of every dream I have. I'm worthy not because I'm perfect, but because of who I am, because of the woman I've become, the woman I have become over the past 2 years since I'm 2023. I think I've been telling everybody 2021. It was really 2022. Since 2022, that person I've become. And, I've had some challenges, especially just recently, but it was all part of the road to transformation. Sometimes you got to crash and burn. Sometimes you've got to look in the mirror and say, who am I really to get there? And that's what Vivian was doing this whole way through. Vivian was looking at who she was. And at the end, when she leaves him, she's comfortable with it because now she knows who she was. She didn't need a knight in shining armor. She didn't need that. And, and I want to ask you, where have you been hiding yourself? How have you been hiding? What have you been hiding? Where are you playing small at in your life? And I know a lot of women leaders, and I know a lot of powerful women leaders that are running big corporations. I've coached a few of them. I know where their issues are because they tell me. We all have them. Don't think, oh my gosh, you're a woman leader and you run this big company, that she doesn't have fears, that she doesn't feel like she's playing small, that she doesn't feel like she's been beat down, that she doesn't feel like she's hiding. We all feel it, so it's okay to admit it. It's okay to step into it and say, this is who I am. It's okay to embrace your inner Vivian. And maybe you need to change how you dress. I mean, the clothes helped her. The clothes help her see a different side of her. being in a nice hotel and having people help her. But in the meeting when Hector, whatever his name is, Hector Alonso, I think, when he introduced her to that woman that would help her, really buy clothes, that changed her because she saw somebody like her that wasn't living in a fancy hotel. This woman had a job in a retail shop. She could identify with that woman, and she could identify and ask her for help, and she could identify with Hector, whatever his name was in the show, because he was a guy working there. He could identify with her, but he saw her for who she could be, because that was his gift. His gift was seeing every one of his customers as they could be. And so when she went to get the closing and everybody sucked up to her, that reinforced to her that she was worthy. Now, we're not all going to go shopping for clothes and have somebody suck up to us. But at some point, you're going to have that changing point. You're going to realize, I am worthy. I am a good person. I am going to stop hiding. I am going to figure out whatever beliefs are running that make me feel small, that make me play small. I'm going to figure out where my inner Vivian is. And I just want you guys to just sit back for a moment and just think, yes, it was a movie, but it was really a tale of coming out, of finding out who you are. And as I said, you don't need a knight in shining armor. It's great to have, somebody come and buy all fancy clothes and that, but you just need that one person to believe in you. And if you don't have somebody in your life that will believe in you, I'll believe in you. Talk to me. As an intuitive listener, I hear what you're not saying. I had lunch yesterday with a friend of mine. I know I'm always surprised people have lunches with me because it always turns into a video. But I had lunch with a friend who I haven't seen for a while. You know how you have those friendships where you might see each other 2 or 3 times a year, but as soon as you sit down together, it's like you just saw each other yesterday. She's that kind of friend. She'll be a friend. We'll be friends when we're 90 years old. We're just that kind of friend. But I was telling her, I said, I lean more into intuitive listening. I hear what people aren't saying. I see what they're not saying. And she just looked at me and she was like, you're right. She goes, I see that. She goes, so I can see why coaching doesn't resonate with you. Because coaching to me is like, oh, let's go do this. Me, I want to help you. I want to help you figure out what's buried within. I want to help you bring out your pretty woman. I want to help you become your best version. And the way that you do that is you look for who's already hiding inside. Whoever you are, whatever your dream is, it's here. It's already here. It's been placed in you. Just picture right before you incarnated, you were born, whatever you want to call it, somebody coming out with a magic wand and going, bink, this is who you are. Bink, this is who you are, Michelle. Bink, this is who you are, Anna. Bink, this is who you are, Becky. Bink, this is who you are, Crystal. Whatever. This is who you are, Bob, Tom, whatever. You got your little bink, and that's who you're meant to be. But then we get born, we get into life, and we're told all these things. I was watching a movie yesterday called Becoming Katharine Graham. Katharine Graham ended up, she owned Washington Post through her, her death of her husband who committed suicide. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's pretty sure it's free. It's a fascinating movie. It's like an hour and a half. It's fascinating. You got to check it out because she had all these beliefs. She was told her whole life she wasn't worthy. She didn't take over the paper when her dad passed. Her family, they gave it to her husband instead of her because she was a woman. It was back then. It was during the Nixon White House. And in the Nixon tapes, you can hear him just being, I don't understand women. They're the worst. They're the worst. That's how women was treated, but she overcame that. That hasn't gone away that much. It's gone away some. During that, they also talked about the women's movement. Gloria Steinem was in it. So we're evolving, but a lot of us, if you're 50, 60, 70, you still have that in you. You still have that Virginia Slims commercial where you can, you gotta look it up. It's a cigarette commercial. You can go to work, bring home a paycheck, go to work, buy groceries, fried up in a pan. Some like buy food and fried up buy groceries, cook dinner and fried up in a pan. That's it. So you could work, so you could buy food money to buy the food to cook it up in the pan and still let your husband know he's a man. That was my favorite line. Still let your husband know he's a man. So even though you're working, you're coming home and cooking dinner, make sure he knows he's a man. That's what we've been taught. Now take that commercial that was back in the 60s and multiply that by all the commercials, and you'll see why so many women are like Vivian. They don't feel like they fit in. They don't feel like they belong. And then if you get in front of a group of people, women are always trying to find their way, trying to figure it out, especially if you get in front of a bunch of men who are kind of, part of the good old boys club, where they're kind of looking at you like, how much longer? So you have to learn how to overcome that by realizing who you are is here. She's just waiting. She's just waiting for you to see her. She's waiting for you to look in the mirror and say, that's where you are. I've been looking for you. I wondered where you were. She's waiting for that moment. She wants you to say, I love you. Let's walk together. Let's stick together. Let's uncover her. And just talk. Just sit down and talk to yourself. How are we doing? Where could we be better? Where can we, change? What can we do? Because when you talk to your inner Vivian, she wants to tell you. She wants you to step into yourself, into your calling, because she sees your most powerful self. So take the time and look in it. Go back and watch the movie Pretty Woman and watch her evolve. But watch, it's not him. He encourages her and he sees her. When they're buying those clothes, he sees her. Hector Alonso sees her. You just need one person in your life to really see you. To see you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. Not for who they'd like you to be, not for who they're trying to change you into becoming, but who you are. Because you are amazing. You have so many gifts. It's time for you to bring those gifts out. It's time to tap into your true calling. It's time to accept your blue rose. It's time to say, I'm ready. You have this blue rose here. I'm ready for it to ignite. I'm ready for it to light up. So when you look in the mirror and you see this beautiful blue rose, you know that's who I am. I'm coming for you and I see you and I'm going to become you. And there's going to be a lot of steps along the way. And there's going to be, I've gone through some challenging times over the past couple of weeks. And there's going to be some missteps because of things that are going on. And you can run around and tell everybody what's going on. Or you can just keep it to yourself. That's up to you. But you're going to have missteps. But it's what you do with the missteps that matter. Do you let the misstep change you and cause you to shrink, or do you look at the misstep and say, I understand why it happened. I probably shouldn't have done this and said this beforehand, but that's it. I really hope this helped you guys. I want you to see yourself. I want you to be seen. I want you to be heard. I want you to be your most powerful self. So when you get to be 100, 110, and you're getting ready to meet your maker, you can say, I lived a good life. I don't want you to sit here, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now and say, I got to quit playing small. I really wish I would have applied for that job. I want you to take the bull by the horns. Is that the expression? I want you to look yourself in the mirror today and say, I challenge you to be your best, most powerful self. Check this out. Let me know. I have other videos if you're on YouTube. Also, if you're in my group, Find Your Blue Rose. We have some conversations going over there. I just want you to find your blue rose. If you're interested in checking out any of my books, they're behind me, all 4 of them. And DM me if you have any comments. Let's discover you together. Have a great day, and here's to you finding your blue rose.